Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. You gonna turn it up a bit? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check test 1 2. Needs to be louder. Check 1 2. I'm far away and talking pretty quiet. So hey, morning. Check 1 2. Check. Yep. 1 2. Yep. Check 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check 1 2. I can ring it more. Like I could get a little more out of it, but I'm pretty far and I'm talking pretty quiet. So check 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check 1 2. Check test 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah. Check 1 2. That's pointed right at the speaker too. So check test 1 2. And I'm talking pretty quiet. And if I get reasonably close, check 1 2. Testing 1 2. Check microphone. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Microphone test. Check 1 2. 1 2. Check 1 2. Check, check. Check. 1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2. Check. Check. 1, 2.
Yeah. Yeah, all of it. I actually forgot that. It's all these little things I'm forgetting because I have meetings.
Yeah.
So are we ready? Okay, I'm going to come out in a sec, and then so I'll introduce myself, and then you'll.
You don't want me yelling that in there. It's not like it. 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm nervous.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. So if everyone who's here could take their seats, and then we have a live stream open. I think if we can unmute that, and looks like are we live there, folks? Great. Thank you. Okay, well, welcome everyone to the meeting of the Mayor's Council. My name is Mike Buda. I'm the Executive Director of the Mayor's Council. I'm directly accountable to the body, its primary advisor, and I support the council in delivering its mandate and direction. So as the Executive Director, I'm going to act as chair until we actually have a chair, because that is one of the orders of business today. I'd like to start this meeting by welcoming new members of the Mayor's Council to this table through a cedar bough welcoming ceremony. I'm going to pass it off to Cheryl Dix here from TransLink Police, and she's going to introduce the ceremony, and then we'll get going. Cheryl, over to you.
Good morning. My name is Cheryl Deach. I used to be Cheryl Simpkin, but I got married in July, so I'm still learning my last name. I'm actually a police officer with the Metro Vancouver Transit Police, and I've been a police officer for 22 years. And I have the great opportunity to join the TransLink family. I am working with the Indigenous relations team here at TransLink to move forward truth and reconciliation, United Nations rights and declarations of Indigenous peoples, and DRIPA to ensure that our traditional territories are having their free and informed consent prior to any consultation and engagement on capital projects. So it is my absolute honor to be here. I am also on the Red Road. And so what that means is that I live a cultural lifestyle. I do not consume any alcohol, drugs, or any medicating substances. And I believe in my Creator. I have a number of special guests with me today. I have Chief Rhonda Larrabee from the Kikite First Nation. I have Michelle George from Tsleil-Waututh Nation. I have our employee resource group. So these folks here are from TransLink and they are Indigenous and we work together and we're all part of one group. I want to acknowledge our Cedar Bough blessing. This is Stacy Ferguson. She is Rhonda Larrabee's daughter, maybe hopefully successor. I have Monica, Ashley Pitt, sorry, I couldn't see her. And she'll also be doing the cleansing ceremony today. So the cedar boughs are about cleansing. It's a tree from our traditional territory here in the Coast Salish, and it's about leaving behind what we don't need to move forward as this council is coming together. Maybe for the first time for many of them, they are going to learn to let go what they don't need and what doesn't belong. It's very important to me. So in Indigenous culture, this is how we introduce ourselves. So my name is Cheryl Deach. I am Vantakwitchem First Nation. I am from the Kikavichik and Tija clan from Old Crow, Yukon. I am proud and strong urban Indigenous woman. What that means is I am not from the 10 nations here in the Coast Salish territory, but my voice matters just as each and every one of yours does. So I have requested to honor our urban Indigenous people. Many of our ladies here are urban Indigenous. From a artist, his name is Patrick Alec. He is from the Penelakut Nation. He has gifted this song to the mayors. This song is called the Equality Song. It's to work together, that no voice is higher than another. Everyone is equal here. Doesn't matter the size of your territory or your nation. We all belong. So as we sing this song, Mike will be requesting each mayor to come in and take their seat. And we will be doing a cleansing ceremony to do so. And I did make a slight error, and I just wanted to acknowledge Kevin. He does sign my paycheck. So with that, I say Masi Cho, and if you could stand during this is a traditional ceremony. That we do understand that this is being live streamed, and we respect that. So the cedar, they will walk and leave behind what they don't need. Thank you.
Mayor John McEwen, Village of Anmore. Mayor Jamie Ross, Village of Belcara. Mayor Andrew Leonard, Bowen Island Municipality. Mayor Mike Curley, City of Burnaby. Mayor Richard Stewart, City of Coquitlam. Mayor George Harvey, City of Delta. Director Jen McCutcheon, Electoral Area A. Mayor Nathan Paschal, City of Langley. City of Langley. Mayor Eric Woodward, Township of Langley. Mayor Ken Berry, Village of Lions Bay. Mayor Dan Remy, City of Maple Ridge. Mayor Patrick Johnstone, City of New Westminster. Mayor Linda Buchanan, City of North Vancouver. Mayor Mike Little, District of North Vancouver. Mayor Nicole McDonald, City of Pitt Meadows. Mayor Brad West, City of Port Coquitlam. Mayor Megan Lati, City of Port Moody. Mayor Malcolm Brody, City of Richmond. Mayor Brenda Locke, City of Surrey. Chief Laura Cassidy, Tsawwassen First Nation. Mayor Ken Sim, City of Vancouver. Mayor Mark Sager, District of West Vancouver. And Mayor Megan Knight, City of White Rock. Thank you. I think we can take our seats. Yep. So I'm going to ask Chief Rhonda Larrabee of the Kikite First Nation and Cheryl to deliver an acknowledgement of the land. Is that right? On which this meeting is being held and in which TransLink operates. So Cheryl, do you want to introduce this?
Thanks for having me once again. So for the mayors that were waiting to join us, that song is written by Patrick Alec from the Penelakut Nation, and he gave us permission to share this song with you. That song is the equality song. It's about working together. This presentation today is in a circle because we're all equal here. No one's bigger, better, or different than anyone else. It's all about that you're equal and each one of your voices matter. So I really want to thank Patrick Alec for sharing and gifting his song to you today. I just want to acknowledge that TransLink operates within 10 different nations within Metro Vancouver, and one treaty nation being Tsawwassen First Nation. Masicho. I do want to acknowledge that TransLink acknowledges and honors and respects the traditional and unceded territories of the Indigenous nations with the land we know as Metro Vancouver. They are the stewards of these lands since time immemorial. We acknowledge our role in supporting reconciliation and creating culturally safe spaces for our Indigenous people and to access transportation services across our region. TransLink's mandate is to connect Metro Vancouver and create a more livable region. And in doing so, we will be inclusive of Indigenous peoples, their culture, their respect, and their perspectives. We uphold reconciliation and the implementation of the United Nations rights of Indigenous people in collaboration with Indigenous government, organizations, and businesses in the pursuit of thriving, and sustainable Indigenous communities. We are on the traditional territory of the Cookite First Nation. It is my absolute honor and privilege to introduce you to my dear friend, Chief Rhonda Larrabee.
Hosiam, good morning. I'm just going to do a brief welcome on behalf of my ancestors, the grandfathers and the grandmothers. We welcome you today by raising our hands in welcome. I will be speaking at length a little later on to tell you who we are. And so we will start off this meeting with the formalities first, and I will talk to you later. And I'm so happy that you're all here today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chief Cheryl, and all that made that possible. I'm going to move on in the agenda, and I would like to begin with the ceremony to swear in new members. I'm going to sit here because we'll actually do the signing of the oaths of office up there. So all newly elected members will be asked one by one to the podium there to sign their oath of office to the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation, as is stipulated by TransLink's governing legislation, that's South Coast British Columbia Transportation Authority Act. Jennifer Breeze, the TransLink's General Secretary and Corporate Secretary, will administer and sign each oath. Only members elected to the Mayor's Council for the first time here today this year will be asked to sign the oath. Returning members are bound to the oath they signed when they first joined the Mayor's Council. The oath commits members to execute the office of member of the Mayor's Council to the best of their knowledge and skills, ability, and to consider the interests of the transportation service region as a whole. It should be acknowledged that the requirement for members to wear two hats, a local hat at their own local government councils and a regional hat when here at the Mayor's Council, isn't always clearly distinguishable or easily practiced. And there's obviously a tension and balance between these two responsibilities, which is a feature, in fact, of a regional governance structure, and one which allows the region to be accountable to both local needs and region-wide responsibilities. Ultimately, this is an accountability under the law to the public, but first to one another as regional leaders. The oath formalizes a commitment to serving on the Mayor's Council as a regional representative. So with that, I'm going to call each of the new members of the Mayor's Council to the podium to sign the oath of office with Jennifer. So Jennifer, if you want to head up there. And actually, I think we'll have a table for you to sign, but you'll need to read your oath with Jennifer there at the podium. So, and we're just like with the opening ceremony, we're going to do this alphabetically by municipality. So that means that Mayor Enter Leonard, Bowen Island Municipality, is the first new mayor to sign his oath. I'm going to Cedar Bow related delay here.
Good morning.
So do you, Mayor Andrew Leonard, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Mayor Nathan Paschal, City of Langley.
Do you, Mayor Nathan Paschal, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do. So help me God.
Mayor Eric Woodward, Township of Langley.
Do you, Mayor Eric Woodward, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Mayor Ken Berry, Village of Lance Bay.
Good morning.
Do you, Mayor Ken Berry, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Dan Rumi, City of Maple Ridge.
Do you, Mayor Dan Rumi, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Mayor Patrick Johnstone, City of New Westminster.
Good morning, Mayor Johnson. Do you, Mayor Patrick Johnstone, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Mayor Nicole McDonald, City of Meadows.
Good morning. Do you, Mayor Nicole McDonald, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Mayor Megan Laddie, City of Fort Moody.
Do you, Mayor Megan Leahy, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Mayor Brenda Locke, City of Surrey.
Do you, Mayor Brenda Locke, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Chief Laura Cassidy, Tawasin First Nation.
Good morning. Do you, Chief Laura Cassidy, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Mayor Ken Sim, City of Vancouver.
Do you, Mayor Ken Sims, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
I do. And by the way, can I just say, this is way easier than the oath of office in Vancouver. Like, this is amazing. So
We'll try to fix that for next time.
Yeah.
Mayor Mark Sager, City of West Vancouver.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you, Mayor Mark Sagar, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And Mayor Megan Knight, City of White Rock.
Do you, Mayor Megan Knight, swear or solemnly affirm and declare that you will fulfill your duties as a member of the Mayor's Council on Regional Transportation in accordance with this oath of office?
Yes, I do.
Great. Well, thank you. Well, welcome and congratulations to all. And I know myself and the TransLink team look forward to working with you, indeed the entire Mayor's Council. So with that, I'd like to conclude that part of the meeting. I've just been handed a note that there could be a problem with or people may be having challenges logging into the Wi-Fi, and I know that people do need to do that to access their agenda. So you need to sign into the TransLink event Wi-Fi name, and not the TransLink guest. So TransLink event, which I believe is showing there, but you may not be able to see it. Okay, so before we can begin the business of the Mayor's Council, the chair or the council requires a chair and vice chair and a designate to the TransLink board, given that all three positions are vacant. So that brings us to our next item. As per section 9.2 of our rules of procedure for the conduct of meetings, in the absence of a chair and vice chair, the council members and delegates present will elect a council member to act as chair of the meeting. For the purposes of chairing this item, starting with the election of chair, I recommend that you ask me, advised by our recording secretary, Carol Lee, and our corporate secretary, Jennifer Breeze, to act as chair. So I would look for a mover and seconder. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. So before we begin the election, I want to just speak briefly to the new position for election today, the Mayor's Council's designate to the TransLink board. Obviously, everyone here would be familiar with the duties of the chair and the vice chair, but this is a new position. It was created this fall as part of the work by minister responsible for TransLink, George Heyman, and the Mayor's Council and the board to improve TransLink's governance structure. The Mayor's Council designate will be invited to attend TransLink board meetings and also board committee meetings, similar to the Mayor's Council chair and vice chair who already serve by virtue of their office on the TransLink board. As I hope you know, details on this position were shared with council members, I think on Tuesday in an email from board chair Lorraine Cunningham. So just a bit of background on that third position. So we're going to begin with the election of chair, and I'm going to actually pass the floor over to our long-serving recording secretary and election virtuoso, Carol Lee, and I'll let her explain and administer our election process. And then once we have a chair, vice chair, and board designate, we can move on to business items. So Carol, I'll ask you to come over. Yes.
I don't know if I like about the long serving part. Good morning, everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment just to review the procedures for electing your chair and vice chair and the Mayor's Council designate to the TransLink board. Any council member may be nominated. The nominations must be seconded, and the nominee must accept the nomination. If there's more than one nomination, a secret ballot will be taken, and the votes will be counted by the executive director, Mike, and the TransLink corporate secretary, Jennifer Breeze. And all three positions, the chair, vice chair, and Mayor's Council designate, will hold office commencing immediately until December 31st of 2023. So to begin, I'll start with the election of the chair. So nominations are now open for the office. Mayor Sim.
I'd like to nominate Mayor Brad West of Port Coquitlam.
Second. Thank you. Mayor West, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Is there a second nomination? I'll make a third and final call for nominations. May I have a motion to close the nominations? Second. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. There being no further nominations, Mayor West is acclaimed to the Mayor's Council chair. Would you like to address?
Well, I'll just say thank you very much. I could really get used to this acclamation thing.
Chair West, you may conduct the election of the vice chair and the Mayor's Council designate if you wish, or I can do it for you.
I'm going to follow the wise lead of Mike
dear.
Buda and ask you to
Okay.
continue on. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you. So now nominations are open for the election of the vice chair. Mayor Brody.
I'd like to nominate Mike Hurley from Burnaby.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Thank you. Mayor Hurley, do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
Thank you. Is there a second nomination? Mayor Sim?
Yeah, I would like to nominate Mayor Brenda Locke of Surrey.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Thank you. Mayor Locke, do you accept the nomination? Thank you. I'll make a third and final call for nominations. Seeing no further nominations, may I have a motion to close the nominations? Thank you. Yes, speeches. So we'll go in the order of the nominations. Mayor Hurley.
You want to do both? We need to turn on one or the other.
Fellow mayors, I'm pleased to stand here before you today to humbly ask for your support for the position of Vice Chair of the Mayor's Council. I'd just like to start off by saying I have the time and commitment to give to this position, and I will be fully engaged at all times. I have the full support of my council to run for this position, and I just wanted to start off to ensure everyone knew that. Over the past 4 years, many of us have been engaged in very in-depth workshops, committee meetings, and engagement with the TransLink Board of Directors and staff, charting an exciting course for the future of transportation in Metro Vancouver. This work has been critical to identify and address the many challenges and opportunities which lay ahead of us. I'm excited for the opportunity to play a leadership role in supporting Chair West as we move forward. It's vital that the Chair, Vice Chair, and third position afforded to the Mayor's Council have a shared vision on how to best present our Mayor's Council views with TransLink Board of Directors, TransLink staff, and other orders of government. It's even more important that we're able to express the need for regional equity and not to simply advocate for our own cities. I think that those who have been around this table will recognize that I have always advocated for regional equity. There's much more work to do, and it's time for aggressive implementation and delivery of service to ensure public confidence remains with TransLink. And that's why I strongly believe on our new and enhanced bus services, which can be delivered in a much more efficient and nimble manner than the mega projects, which seem to get delivered every 10 to 15 years. While these services are important, our buses remain as the real workhorses of the system, and this is unlikely to ever change. With bus rapid transit, we need quick implementation and success to prove that road sharing can work and deliver a quick, reliable, comfortable service while using zero-emission vehicles. Many of our regional challenges are related to traffic congestion and climate change. A successful transit system combined with robust different modes of transportation as laid out in our 2050 plan are really the only solutions to these regional challenges. With over $20 billion slated for new capital expansion over the next 10 years, trusted relationships with other orders of government is paramount if we are to achieve our ambitious investment plans. And make no mistake, this is no easy feat, and it's going to take a lot of cooperation and working together. I have many years of experience and had much success working with governments of all stripes, delivering for those I have represented. I have no doubt that this lobbying experience will be a great asset in assisting Chair West, the Mayor's Council, and TransLink to achieve much success with different orders of government. I'm excited about our 2050 plan and the 10-year vision we have developed together. I believe I am ready for a leadership role with this team, and my pledge to each of you in this room is that I will work with each and every one of you in a collaborative, respectful, and even-handed manner to deliver the transit system we all desire. That's why I close with respectfully asking for your support and a vote for Mike Hurley for the position of Vice Chair. Thank you.
Mayor Locke.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Thank you all. It's great to be amongst all the new mayors and the existing mayors that were here before. I didn't come with anything absolutely prepared, so I take my hat off to Mayor Hurley. But I can tell you that I'm absolutely committed to what public transportation is going to look like, not only in the South Fraser, but the entire region. It is so absolutely critical to how we move forward as a region, but also for individual people and how we grow our cities. And we all know the cost implications that are facing residents, but we know further than that. We know what we are all facing as cities and how we grow and how we develop. I am absolutely committed to how we make this better communities, but a better region altogether. Certainly things have changed a lot in the last number of years, and we have seen what is the need of residents. People do want to get out of their cars, and how we get them there is going to be a large challenge and an absolute cost implication. So I do understand that. I've been an MLA and a cabinet minister. I have great relationships right across both the federal and provincial governments. And so I intend on using those to support not only the region, but the province in how we build our cities. And I look forward to supporting Mayor West and in how that is fulfilled at the TransLink level. So with that, I will just ask for your support and hope that you can support me in this venture. So thank you.
Thank you. We will now distribute the ballots. Would you please write the name of your preferred candidate, and we'll come around and collect them.
Spelling count.
Spelling doesn't count. Yeah, I think we'll figure it out. We did the Jeopardy song or something. Yeah. Next time I'll cue it up. I think we need a drum roll. The results of the election are that Mayor Hurley received the majority of votes. And so he's elected vice chair to hold office until December 31st. Congratulations. I don't. So our third and final election is for the Mayor's Council designate to the TransLink Board. The nominations are now open.
I nominate Malcolm Brody from Richmond.
Thank you. Thank you. Mayor Brody, do you accept? Thank you. Is there a second nomination? Calling a third and final time for nominations. May I have a motion to close the nominations?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Sorry, and I did forget to ask for a motion to destroy the ballots from the vice chair.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Mayor Brody, apologies. You are acclaimed to the position of Mayor's Council designate. Yes, you may.
Thank you very much.
I now turn over the chair to Mayor West.
Uh-oh, no, we don't allow those. Well, thank you very much, colleagues. I do want to take the opportunity to just make a few remarks. I first want to thank all of you for your confidence in me. It is a tremendous honor to be taking on this role, and I approach it with the utmost respect, commitment, and excitement. I want to congratulate Mayor Hurley on his election as vice chair and Mayor Brody on his election as Mayor's Council designate. I'm looking forward to working together on behalf of all the mayors here. Today begins what I believe will be one of the most consequential 4 years for this Mayor's Council and the people of Metro Vancouver. Our opportunity, and more importantly, our responsibility, is to deliver. As you all know, we've spent much of the past 2 years developing a new plan to do just that. Transport 2050 10-year priorities. Now, I want to be upfront. This is our region's and perhaps Canada's most significant transit plan by far. More than doubling bus service to enable us to provide 15-minute or better service to every corner of the region. 9 new bus rapid transit lines so that rapid transit becomes a reality for more people in Metro Vancouver. Rapid transit to the North Shore as quickly as possible. A gondola to SFU. A massive increase in funding for improved walking and cycling infrastructure, extending the SkyTrain to UBC, in addition to laying the groundwork for consideration of further expansions throughout the region, alongside a continued commitment to ensuring our major road network supports the residents and businesses who depend on roads to move around our region. Is it ambitious? Yes. Is it achievable? Yes. But most importantly, is it necessary? Absolutely. This plan aims high because, simply put, that is what is required to support the people of our region. And it's what they deserve, no matter which community they call home. This region is growing. People are moving here and will continue to do so. And we can no longer afford to have a transit and transportation system that falls behind. If we want to see the quality of life of our residents improve, if we want to see a growing economy that lifts people up, provides high quality jobs that you can raise a family on, and produces the revenue we need for the services we deserve, and if we want to reduce carbon emissions and do our part to tackle climate change, if we want to do all of that and more, then we have the plan that will deliver. And we should not waste a moment in delivering it for the people of Metro Vancouver. Because the public has been clear. From the extensive public engagement that went into developing this plan to the conversations we all have every single day. People want action. That is why it is so important that we have an approved plan in place. We are ready to go. The time for talking is over. It's time to get it done. Now, getting it done means we need support from our partners in the provincial and federal government. It simply will not happen without them. We're asking them to meet us in this moment. You have in this Mayor's Council a partner that is speaking with one voice, speaking as one region, that is united in purpose, in vision, that has a plan and is ready to go. We have said all the words that can be said. Let's speak with our actions. Let's show the people of Metro Vancouver that we've heard them, that they've waited long enough, and that we cannot afford the decline that failing to move forward with these necessary investments would bring to our region. We look forward to working with you, and we thank you for your support and partnership. And in particular, Premier Eby, who takes office tomorrow, will be knocking on your door very soon. To my colleagues around this table, this will take all of us. Everyone has a role. Everyone is a part of this team. That's how we will succeed in delivering the new and expanded transit proposed in the 10-year priorities. As one united and focused group that is relentless in our work to deliver this plan for the 2.8 million people who call our communities home. I can tell you this, I look around this room and I have never been more confident that we have the right group to move us from studies to shovels in the ground. In this effort, let's be as united as our residents are. Because regardless of where they rest their head at night, our people are connected. Their lives cross municipal boundaries, from where they work to where their children's activities are, to where they go for an evening out, to a concert, to a Canucks game, to visiting one of our beautiful regional parks. They need to get around our entire region. And that's the regional perspective and reality that I know each of us will bring to our deliberations. I look forward to working with all of you, to learning from all of you, and delivering results together. Thank you very much, and let's get it done. Vice Chair Hurley gave his speech, but I do want to provide an opportunity if the Vice Chair and the Council, Mayor's Council designate would like to share any words.
I would just like to say thanks for this opportunity, and I completely agree with the chair that we have the team around this table to deliver, and it is time to deliver. We've done lots of talking. I know Malcolm will be on board. Everyone around this table will be on board to ensure that we deliver for the residents of the region. And that's the goal, and that's what we'll continue to do, working with Chair West and all of you every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Brody.
As you both have said, the time for talking is done. And so it is time for action. And I think we should get on with the agenda, but I will say thank you to everybody for your confidence in appointing me from the Mayor's Council as a designate to the board. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, but I think with this team and with the help of everybody in this room, I think we're going to really accomplish a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, I want to officially welcome everyone to today's public meeting of the Mayor's Council, our first since the local government election. The agenda for today has been distributed and posted last Thursday with a version date showing as November 10th. Do I have a mover and seconder for the agenda? It's been moved, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 3 is a presentation by Indigenous representatives, and our first item, which is our first time, and we'll have a presentation from Michelle George of Tsleil-Waututh Nation.
So maybe I'd ask Cheryl to come up and introduce.
Be first and then.
Hosiem. Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished guests. Congratulations to you new mayors. Congratulations to incumbent mayors. As you heard, my name is Rhonda Larrabee. I'm chief of the Kakite First Nation. My traditional name is Ziwamot, in honor of my great-grandfather from Stalo Nation. We are recognized by all levels of government as the New Westminster Indian Band, number 566. Kakite in our language means resting place, and we are often referred to as the river people. We have resided on the Fraser River for many, many centuries. And when visitors came down the river in their canoes, no compass card required, and they stopped at our village, we always welcomed and shared a feast with them so they would feel at home while far away from theirs. You have met my daughter, Stacy Ferguson, who had the honor of doing the cedar brushing to you all this morning to get rid of all your negative thoughts and give you a clear mind and a good heart. She works at our office in New Westminster, which is located in the Welcome Center at the secondary school on 6th Street. We are very involved in the community and have formed strong ties with the school district, Douglas College, the Justice Institute, and many, many organizations. TransLink is one of them. I have been here many times working with Sergeant Cheryl Simpkin and Constable Kirk Rattray, the Indigenous Liaison Officer for Metro Vancouver Transit Police. The partner between the Transit Police and TransLink ensures that people are kept safe on the TransLink system, buses, SkyTrains, C-Bus, wherever. I have to express my gratitude for your willingness to embrace reconciliation, the Indigenous programs set up for our youth, and for respecting and honoring our culture. This is my first Mayor's Council meeting, and I'm pleased to be here for the inaugural meeting and swearing-in ceremony. Serving 22 communities in the Metro Vancouver transit area is a huge responsibility, and I trust that you will all be working very hard to make it a better place for everyone. And since monthly meetings are going to be held right here, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who we are, who Kakite First Nation is. My heritage is from an Indigenous mom and a Chinese dad. My brothers and I lived in the Chinatown area. I went to Strathcona School and I frequented Chinatown often. My father came from a very large family, so we were surrounded by the Chinese culture. My mom, Marie, and her siblings never spoke of their heritage, but we just assumed she was Asian. It was only in the early 1970s that she told me her story. She was born at St. Mary's Hospital in New Westminster. Her father was a fisherman for the Inaugural cannery. She was forced to attend the Kamloops Indian Residential School for many years, and she felt very ashamed of being an Aboriginal woman. I asked her about her parents, all her relatives, and she finally gave me their names. But with many tears, she asked me to never, ever mention this to her again or ever ask her any more questions. And while she was alive, I respected those wishes. She passed away in the mid-1980s, never admitting to anyone of her roots. So wanting to know about her life, my dad told me to go find out where she came from, make her feel proud of who she was. So I was guided by many people, which led me to an elder who had been my grandfather's fishing partner in the 1920s. He was in his 80s now, and he passed down stories of my whole family, of my great-grandparents, of my grandmother and where she came from, aunts, uncles, cousins. So after applying for and receiving my status card, the letter from Ottawa stated that I was a member of the New Westminster Indian Band, which had been taken off the inactive general list of reserves and marked active now that I was here. All I cared about was I had a physical connection that tied me to Mom and her family and her heritage. I had been in contact with relatives who knew our family, and I was just totally happy. Then I started receiving phone calls. An elder from Squamish Nation met with my brother and I and said we had a responsibility to make sure that the Indigenous people who lived in New Westminster were remembered, even though their reserves had been unlawfully taken away and sold. The chief from Katzie First Nation contacted me and said basically the same thing. The chief from Musqueam called me for a meeting and confirmed they had all their records. They confirmed that we were indeed descendants of this area. All of a sudden, my status card took on a different meaning. I also met with Tsleil-Waututh Nation, and they mapped out our fishing territory through records of my grandfather's fishing history. I was getting bombarded with questions as well as information about our history. So what should I do? My daughters were teenagers. I still used a pager because cell phones weren't common. I didn't have a hint of gray in my hair. And I was working full-time for the Vancouver Park Board. But I couldn't ignore what the other First Nations were urging me to do. So I took a leave of absence from work. I found out that I could ask the AB Council for a loan, which they gave me $500 so we could hire a researcher to help. The researcher worked for the Union of BC Indian Chiefs Resource Center in Gastown. And she came with me to the archives in Ottawa to show me the ropes. I met with Indian Affairs, Lands and Trust officers in Ottawa, and they said, we should get a land base. Ha, that still hasn't happened. It seems that you needed a reserve to qualify for the addition to reserve policy. And that was the beginning of our journey. It's been a rocky road, and our unique story has been told many, many times. The Record, Burnaby Now, the Vancouver Sun, and even the Globe and Mail. The National Film Board followed us around for 7 months while filming the documentary, A Tribe of One. It won awards as Best Documentary in San Francisco, Phoenix, Duncan, and is used as a teaching tool in many colleges and universities in Canada and the US. In the meantime, for the last 30 years, we have found ways to learn about this community as it is today and to become part of making a difference. Since the sad discovery of the 215 in Kamloops, reconciliation has moved up a few notches. People across Canada have realized that the Indigenous people have suffered the loss of their culture, their languages, their lands, and have endured systemic racism for over 100 years. We, the descendants of the Kakite people, are still here. We're not going away. We're not giving up. We are in negotiations with the feds right now, and we are hopeful that a resolution will happen soon and we can come home where we belong. My humble advice to you mayors of this council is to find out whose traditional territory you are on. Find out about the people who were there first and honor the recommendations that were handed down by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We are hoping for working relationships that benefit each municipality as well as each First Nation. We are hoping for a true partnership with trust and integrity. Thank you for listening. Haitga CM Haitga. You can clap.
Thank you, Chief Larrabee. She's so beautiful, isn't she? So leaders are all about teaching. Did you learn something this morning? That's wonderful. So we're going to do a little bit more teaching. We're going to welcome Michelle George from the Tsleil-Waututh Nation. She's going to teach us a little bit about what it was like before, during, and our future. So I'd like to welcome her now. Masicho.
Michelle Konisqui, Talitsan Uk, say Athna. Michelle is my name. I come from a place referred to as a bay. My father is Michael George. He is Tsleil-Waututh. My mother is Jeanette Chikazim. She's from Attawapa, Skat, Ontario. My father's father is from Tsleil-Waututh. His name is Claude Paul George. His mother is from Fraser Valley, Stilo Nation. And I can keep going like that for generations. On my Tsleil-Waututh side, I can go back to prior to contact for 1792. And my family used from Squamish down towards the border and beyond. And that's just my father's side. My mother's side has a longer history related to Hudson's Bay and contact on that side. My family here were able to follow the tide, and we had a saying, when the tide went out, the table was set, which meant that we could literally follow the tide out the length of the table and have enough food to feed more than everybody here. And this was up until 1970s. Prior to that, we had fisheries that there was so many fish that you could walk across the backs of them and never touch water. They would stop the boats from proceeding upriver because that's how much fish were there. Trees larger than this area right now and would be able to build a house and a canoe and provide for multiple families. Our homes were so rich in resources that we were able to sustain our economies, our ways of life, and our protocols for thousands of years. Thousands of years, we're able to have these protocols where we could come to the river and fish, where we could go to the mountains and hunt goats, where we had an understanding of relationship ties, family blood ties, ceremonies, and protocols that still exist today. 1792 changed all of that for Tsleil-Waututh. For my family back east, they had already had contact. There was talk of war, there was talk of other things, and they participated in that. Here, we were just finding out about contact. Here, we're just experiencing plague, smallpox. Here, we had a story of when some of the first settlers came. We were confused because some of them were actually darker than us. And we traded food. They brought what was referred to as bread. And we didn't know what to do with it because it was like rock solid and we sort of skipped it like rocks across the water. But we had enough resources to feed all of their crews, all of their boats. And we, in some sense, were welcoming. We wanted to show our generosity to our home and what we were accustomed to, what our customs were, what kind of people we were. In our culture, the more you give, the richer you are. So we would have a ceremony and we'd have blankets piled to the ceiling and food for weeks. And we would conduct our ceremonies giving away everything. And at the end of it, as if our house was empty, that meant that all of our family and all of our guests were given stuff. And that was our form of all, knowing that our generosity represented our family. It took a lot of time to prepare those things, to create those blankets, to harvest those resources, to acquire those items for those ceremonies. But yet, understanding that we needed to save some for future generations, that we're thinking 7 generations ahead, and that we would have to leave something for the future generation following behind us. 1792 and beyond, we witnessed great devastation to our whole entire territory. Fisheries was decimated within a couple seasons. Forests were wiped clean in a couple decades. It was alarming, devastating, and at the same time, we had to learn to adapt. My family says that we had over 10,000 people using our traditional territory. And after contact, smallpox, and other things, some of the records show that we went down to 13 to 35 people. So when you're standing on your land base trying to defend your home, and there's 13 people trying to cover your territory, it's pretty challenging. It's not easy. And yet my family did it. And at the same time survived Canadian Constitution, residential school, colonization, pre-exemption acts, and a number of laws and rules and schools that were meant to assimilate my family. We weren't allowed to speak. We weren't allowed to teach. We weren't allowed to be. We went from using our whole area, what we now refer to as a consultation area, to less than a square kilometer. And that square kilometer is in North Vancouver. It was quite the adaptation, quite the struggle, and yet my family survived and endured and continued to adapt throughout the times, throughout the ages, throughout the generations. It was a real struggle being subjected to that 1 square kilometer. But we were blessed with this beautiful inlet that gave us our way of life and our culture and our food. And up until my dad's generation, they could go down to the inlet with a pot and use the water and eat the food and literally stay down there all day, every day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. My grandparents told me stories where they would collect sacks, 100-pound sacks for days, and they'd still be able to go back and still harvest that for days. And now we are currently trying to work on water quality objectives, returning the health to the inlets, and being able to harvest food from the inlet. It's a work in progress, but we're doing it. We went from 13 to 35 people to a membership list just a little over 600. We used to employ roughly around 15 to 30 people, and our administration was run out of a kitchen in one of our homes. We now have the state-of-the-art building, and we employ over 150 people. We have over 6-7 departments: economic development, community development, tree lands and resources, public works, administration, and the list goes on. We have business development, housing development, we have schools, daycares. We are surviving and thriving and continuing to grow while building a sustainable wealth for our future generations. My granduncle, Chief Leonard George, or Chief Dan George, he has said prolific things throughout his time. And something that he told his kids was adapt to the ages, take on different tools of today's society, and learn to grow and run with it. He is referring to education. He is referring to political relationships. He is referring to business. He wanted us to adapt because our traditional ways are, in a sense, endangered. There's not a place I can go in my territory without hearing some form of development. I am lucky enough to have an area called the Indian River Watershed. And even in the most remote places of that, there's evidence of development. There's evidence of BC Hydro, Fortis, gas lines, forestry. So it's quite a challenge to hold on to those cultural teachings and cultural practices that we weren't allowed to practice for 150 years. It was against the law. And this municipality, the city, is where we're judged for it. Devastating things happened in these lands during a certain time. And realistically, it wasn't that long ago. As my family said, her parents went to residential school. My grandmother went to residential school. My father lucked out and just missed it. But the thing about that was that being in public school system and being First Nations, it wasn't that far of a removal. He went 5 days a week, but the treatment was very similar. You had grade 1 students, sorry for the bluntness, fist fighting teachers. So fighting for an education and then fighting to survive while you're there, on top of everything else that we still currently have to endure and face. I went to Ottawa for my family's back east, and I had to renew my status card. And when I went to the head office, my application form was rejected because I checked the wrong box. And this was assessed by an immigrant worker from Africa. Didn't speak English. And, I had to laugh because I was actually elected leadership at that time, and our election laws state that I have to be a member of Tsleil-Waututh Nation. And right then in the INAC office, they denied my application to be First Nations. These are things that we still have to face today. And these are like the bumps and the hurdles that we, under the Indian Act, still have to deal with. But most of us are adapting. Most of us have become business people. Most of us are educated in different ways. I have guest lectured at different institutes across the territory, BCIT, SFU, Langara, Capilano University. And I have published papers. I have been elected official. I have been a tour guide. I've served coffee. I've adapted to the ways of my home and the things that I do today. I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share just a little bit of what First Nations have had to deal with in the last 150 years. And that's not even scratching the surface. That's just a Coles Notes, really quick, barely an understanding. But I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening. Ichka.
Thank you so much. So we are going to conclude this portion of your Mayor's Council. I want to acknowledge each and every one of you for your commitment to your communities, to be a designate, to be a voice. And we have brought our voice today. We felt it very, very important as we move forward with truth and reconciliation. Be a part of the solution. Let us come to the table. Let us have our voice and our value as each and every one of you is valued. I raise my hands to each and every one of you. You can take your cedar ballots on the table or on the floor and put it in your home. It's to acknowledge that you're in a safe space and you agree to work together as a group, as a community. It takes a community to make positive change. You guys have committed to doing that. I acknowledge everyone that came today. I acknowledge TransLink so much for giving us this space and transportation and making it safe for Indigenous people, safe for all peoples. Inuit, Métis, First Nations, urban Indigenous. Don't forget about us, we're important. Masicho.
Well, thank you very much. On behalf of the entire Mayor's Council, I want to express my appreciation and gratitude for you being here and for sharing such a powerful message with all of us. I know everyone was wrapped with attention. I could see how closely everyone was taking in and sitting with what you were sharing. So thank you very much. And I know that this is just the beginning of our work together, to walk together in a spirit of reconciliation, to build a better future for all of our people and all of our communities. So thank you very much for being here. All right, we'll now move to the report of TransLink Management. It's a report from Kevin Quinn, our CEO, and I understand that Mr. Buddha has asked TransLink to provide a State of the Union on TransLink and Transport 2050 to provide this new group with some context on recent transportation trends and TransLink's plans for delivering on our recently approved regional plan. And I hope this will inform all of us for the subsequent discussions that we'll have in upcoming meetings. So Kevin, over to you.
What's that? No pressure. So good morning, everyone. And Chief Larrabee, Michelle, I just want to thank you on behalf of TransLink, the TransLink staff, for sharing your stories, your history, your inspiration. That's something we all need to hear as we embark on our own journey and our part towards reconciliation. So I want to thank you. Good morning, all. It's so wonderful to have you here in person. Wonderful to do this. This is my first Mayor's Council in person. So wonderful to see you. I want to welcome our new and our returning mayors here. In my management report today, I'll be providing an update on the current state of our system, including ridership recovery. I want to take a few minutes to touch on the foundational work that was done this past year. We'll also look ahead to some of TransLink's key priorities for our continued work with the Mayor's Council in 2023 as we plan for the rapid growth of this region. Since this is our first meeting, I do want to formally welcome, Formally welcome and congratulate our new chair, Mayor West. Congratulations. Congratulations also to Vice Chair Mayor Hurley and Mayor's Council designate Mayor Brody. So congratulations to you all. I'd like to start with a ridership update. I think while we can all sit here and agree that the past few years have been challenging, there are so many positives to celebrate. Most recent ridership reports are showing that ridership recovery has surpassed 76% of pre-pandemic levels. And in early October, we actually reached 81% ridership recovery. That's been a milestone for us, as throughout the fall, we've really hovered in the high 70s, low 80s from a ridership recovery. We expect that trend to really continue. We've seen weekend ridership increasing at a stronger rate than weekdays. When people have places to go, like sporting events, like concerts, it's clear that they're really trusting transit to take them there. And as of the week of October 31st, average weekend transit journeys were at 84%. For example, ridership we've seen particularly impressive during Canada Day, Celebration of Light, the Pride Parade, all this past summer. And in comparison, during that same week of October 31st, weekday transit journeys are at 74%. Now, at peak times in particular, we aren't seeing ridership return as quickly. And I think that's really demonstrating this shift that we're seeing in commuting and in work patterns. This trend continues through West Coast Express ridership, which still falls behind the system-wide ridership recovery. West Coast Express is around 40% of pre-COVID ridership levels, but it is increasing. And while there are certainly still challenges ahead on our continued journey to recover ridership, I'm really proud to say that TransLink is leading the way among comparable transit agencies in Canada and the US, including Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, New York City, Seattle, San Francisco, LA, Chicago, Portland, Philadelphia, Washington, DC, go on and on. We're leading them all. With more work from home options, we're seeing travel patterns change. Work from home, study from home, shop from home. We recognize there's been a real structural shift in transit use. And what this means is that some customers are shifting their travel times away from typical peak demand to other times of the day, while some customers are reducing their transit use. As mentioned, the recovery is not consistent throughout the region, which brings its own set of challenges. Some areas, particularly south of the Fraser, for example, have reached 100% or more of pre-COVID levels. This means that while that's good, we are seeing increased overcrowding conditions on some of our routes. We continue to address this through service reallocation to meet the needs of our customers. For example, in some areas south of the Fraser, we've actually increased service by 11%. And these challenges really, I think, shine a light on the needs of the region, both today and in the future. While ridership has always been this very key metric of success, together with this council, I do want to start to think differently about this and begin considering some other measures that I think have emerged during the pandemic, in addition to ridership, as we continue to adapt to a kind of a new normal. So metrics such as customer satisfaction and what we're doing to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, I think should be significant measures that we all are discussing in determining our success and moving into the future. We're welcoming customers back to the system as well in a big way. And first and foremost, I believe our success in ridership recovery has really come from reliable and consistent service for our customers throughout the pandemic. It can always be very tempting to slash service levels when ridership declines, and especially given how dramatic and how sudden the change was at the height of the pandemic. But because we didn't do that, we didn't fall into that trap, we kept service levels high, we didn't disrupt customer and routine and travel patterns. And I think that that's really something that's enabled us in our recovery to be far stronger than a lot of other systems are seeing and otherwise would have been the case. We were also out supporting communities throughout difficult times during the pandemic, whether it was our mobile vaccination bus, shuttles helping individuals get to vaccination appointments. We were there when communities needed us. And then to really incentivize customers to get back to the system and offset our reduction in those commuter customers, we launched our Tap In to Win program, our successful sweepstakes, rewarding customers for frequent travel, celebrating their return to the system, and hopefully creating some new travel habits for new or returning customers along the way. And now, as we come out of the pandemic, we're more focused than ever on the customer, ensuring their experience on our system is world-class. Programs such as our busker program is back. We've ramped up entertainment further with our new arts and performance program, Art Moves. We're also supporting active transportation like cycling. So this summer, for example, we trialed a new bike bus service, which ran along the existing 620 route between Tsawwassen Ferry Terminal and Bridgeport Station and offered interior bike racks. During the pilot period, over 1,300 bikes used the service, and we got a lot of positive feedback from our customers. So, really, how do we strengthen those multimodal connections? How do we make it seamless? How do we make it easier for people to travel on the system? We continue to deepen our connections within the communities we serve too. And from our transit volunteers who are helping to provide a welcoming presence to the system, to our car-free days and community events presented by TransLink, promoting the benefits of leaving your car at home. This year, car-free days were celebrated in Surrey, New Westminster, North Vancouver, Commercial Drive, Main Street, and West End, attended by over 385,000 people. It's worth noting that over 7,000 people took the car-free pledge, committing to visiting their neighborhoods the environmentally sustainable way and leaving the hassle of finding parking or paying for gas at the door. And we look forward to continuing to expand this fantastic event to some of other municipalities in the years to come. This upcoming Earth Day, we're eager to highlight our climate initiatives through our second annual Transit for the Planet campaign, which really encourages the region to consider their personal carbon footprint when choosing how to move around the region. And through listening to our customers, we know that these initiatives are impactful. But as I've said before, and I will continue to say, we know that it's consistent, reliable service that will keep our customers coming back. Before we look ahead to 2023, I've got to take a minute to talk about some of our recent milestones that have set up with such a strong foundation to build on. And that has been set with reconciliation, with sustainability, and with inclusion at top of mind for us. 2022 was a busy year. We launched several ambitious plans that will help shape the future of our region, from Transport 2050 and the 10-year priorities to our climate action strategy and our customer experience action plan. We continued to invest hundreds of millions of dollars into regional walking, cycling, and road infrastructure. And we've started building for the future with projects like Capstan Station and supporting the Broadway Subway project. On top of all of this, we have kept the region moving and our system in a state of good repair with upgrades to key stations like Commercial Broadway, Surrey Central, and most recently started on the Burrard Station escalator replacement. Every decision that we make, from planning to investing to delivering our services, is done with our customers in mind, to provide them with reliable service and a great experience, building trust and increasing the likelihood that they will return and use our services more often. From the recent opening of our new TransLink Customer Service Center at Waterfront Station to the installation of Braille signage on over 8,000 bus stops across the region, we've put in a lot of work to ensure that our system is worthy of the people that we serve every single day. I'm particularly proud of the work that was done on Transport 2050, a plan I know that many of you are intimately familiar with. It's a very bold vision that sets our plan to ensuring an accessible transportation system that is convenient, reliable, affordable, safe and comfortable, and carbon-free. And after our largest consultation yet, we can confidently say that Transport 2050 is a plan that reflects not only what the region wants most, but offers solutions to the challenges that the region is facing. Many of you were involved in the shaping of this historical transportation strategy. And now, as we move forward, You'll be part of the legacy of building our region for the next 30 years. Metro Vancouver, and particularly the Mayor's Council, are known for its visionary and forward-thinking planning. And as they say, great planning is about bringing the future to the present. I believe the 10-year priorities does just that. This $21 billion blueprint identifies a clear path to actualizing the first third of the Transport 2050 plan. It identifies what we as a region think we should get started on right away to make transportation and access better for everyone. Key investments from the 10-year priorities include things like expanding bus service, adding transit priority infrastructure, and safe and comfortable transit facilities. It includes building out the reliable and fast transit network, including new rapid transit and express and interregional connections, and supporting people-first streets, as well as walking, cycling, and rolling. Taking a bus-first approach, the plan also introduces bus rapid transit, or BRT. That's a new technology to Metro Vancouver, but it certainly isn't new to the rest of the world. Fast, frequent, cost-effective, and relatively quick to build, BRT could be a real game changer for Metro Vancouver. And that brings us to the present. 2022 was a busy year, and we did a lot of preparation for the future and started making great strides toward it. But now is the time to start bringing these plans to life as we continue to deliver for this region and for our customers. As we look to the future with optimism, it's important to recognize that times are still turbulent with many unknowns. Like many other businesses and transportation authorities across the country, TransLink is facing significant financial pressures now and into the future. Inflation, rising fuel, increased construction costs, and lower than expected ridership all contribute to the challenges that we're experiencing. Our ridership revenue is also lower than we expected because of the Omicron COVID wave earlier in the year. Currently, fare revenue is lower than where we expected it to be, and current capital construction cost pressures are up significantly compared to previously approved capital. This means that although we just approved an investment plan in May, we're already thinking about our next investment plan targeted for 2024. It's vital that we identify new and innovative sources of revenue and cost-saving measures to adequately prepare us for the next evolution of transportation in this region. Now, more than ever, it is vital that we all continue to work together and have a united voice when it comes to funding the 10-year priorities and introducing new and more sustainable sources of funding for transit and transportation in the region. I think we can all agree that whether it's building the transit system of the future, addressing climate change, or improving the customer experience, we have more success when we work together. Heading into 2023, we'll continue to look to and plan for the future, but we also must start to bring our vision to life as we continue to deliver service to communities each and every day. First, we'll be turning our attention to delivering the first phase of the 10-year priorities, including developing an action plan for BRT and advancing important climate action initiatives. We know that BRT will be a game changer for the region. Ultimately, as we start to learn more about this technology and what it will look like in Metro Vancouver, it will be so important for us to work together in lockstep to ensure that we are engaging with you, with your residents, your communities, local businesses, on future decisions to best meet the transportation needs along key corridors. To advance climate initiatives that will support our goal to become a carbon neutral region by 2050, we need to create a more sustainable transportation system. A key component of this work is decarbonizing our fleet. And as outlined in our low carbon fleet strategy, electrification and renewable natural gas are the two primary methods approved for delivering this strategy. And over the course of the next year, we'll be working on developing the zero emission fleet transition plan. And this plan will provide critical inputs into our next investment plan. It will tell us what kinds of zero emission technologies need to be deployed, where they should be deployed, and who will benefit first from clean, quiet, non-polluting transit. And as we begin this work, top of mind is the importance of innovation and resilience. Electrification is a key component to achieving a 37% reduction in GHG emissions by 2030. But we still need another 8% to reach our target of 45% before the end of the decade. And that's why our plan will look at multiple diverse technologies like hydrogen and renewable diesel and new trolley technologies to ensure we not only achieve or exceed our climate goals, but create a climate resilient fleet for the future. Transport 2050 also sets an aggressive regional target to reduce GHGs from light duty vehicles by 65% by 2030. And building on Transport 2050 and Metro Vancouver's Climate 2050, we are working with Metro Vancouver on developing an implementation pathway to achieving the regional 2030 light duty vehicle GHG emissions target. Finally, reconciliation will continue to be a core component of our work here at TransLink. Next year, we will continue to support reconciliation with Indigenous nations and Indigenous peoples through key initiatives like developing a reconciliation action plan, finalizing our urban Indigenous engagement strategy, and providing cultural awareness training to this council, the TransLink board, and leaders across the enterprise. 2023 will be another busy year for this organization, but I am confident that together we can tackle the challenges ahead and make strides toward achieving the goals set out in Transport 2050 and the 10-year priorities. In closing, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to this council for your work with TransLink. We couldn't deliver safe, reliable, and frequent service without your support. And as we begin to actualize these ambitious plans that we've set out to achieve over the next several years, it will be vital for us to continue working together. Plans of this scale can only be accomplished when we come together, unified for the betterment of this region. I look forward to coming out with staff to each of your communities in the coming months to learn about your needs, hear from residents, discuss priorities, and maybe even jump on a bus or a train together. I want to address some of the major challenges that you may be facing, things you're hearing, and discuss how the 10-year priorities will come to life in your city and deliver some long-term solutions. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of the TransLink team here today, welcome once again to the Mayor's Council. We look forward to working with each of you to keep the momentum going. Again, great to see you all in person. Really looking forward to working with you, charting the path to the future. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Quinn. I'll now open the floor to the body if anybody has any comments or questions. That won't happen ever again, Kevin. So take it while you can. Seeing none, can I please have a mover and a seconder to receive the report of the CEO? Seconded. All in favor, opposed, motion carries. That brings us to the end of our meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for December 8th, 2022 at 9 a.m. The direction from the previous Mayor's Council was that that meeting would be held via video conference. I will be reaching out to members of this Mayor's Council to clarify whether that is still the direction we wish to go. But for now, that will be the plan. I want to remind people that we have a meeting with the board and a planning workshop following this meeting. And seeing no other business, I'll have a motion to adjourn, please. Move seconded, all in favor, opposed, carried. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Buda for some directions.
Sure, thank you. So as you know, we're going to have a lunch meeting with the board and then a workshop. We're going to need to flip the arrangements in this room. So if you've got anything, I'd ask you to take it next door to the members lounge. And then if you're unsure where to go, you can ask me. Members of the TransLink exec and board who are here can also help guide you to where we're going.